purposely left my girlfriend's closet door open despite her anxiety, and now she's not speaking to me after I told her to get over it. My girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 23 male, have been together for almost 3 years now. We get along well and didn't fight much, which is why I'm confused over this situation. My girlfriend lives in her own apartment and works full-time, whereas I am still living with my parents until I finish college. I was originally planning on moving in with my girlfriend into her apartment once she renews her lease until we had our disagreement. My girlfriend's place is pretty basic. I guess you can say it's got a modern and minimalist look. That is until you go to her bedroom. There's a lot of these glow-in-the-dark stars all over her closet door and walls. I remember when I asked her about it, she told me that when she was young she experienced a traumatic event. To help with her anxiety, she placed the stars as a guide to help her see if there was a silhouette either in front of the door or if the door was open. I don't know if that makes sense. She said she only asked that I keep that door closed, especially at night. I was understandable about the situation. So when I first spent the night at her place, I made sure to check if the closet was closed while she slept earlier. Months went by and there were instances where I accidentally forgot to close it. She'd wake up the next day and ask me about it. Hey, did you forget to close the door last night? I apologized for it, and she'd saying something like, please don't forget next time. I had no problem with it at first, though lately it's been getting annoying. It felt like that's all she wanted to talk about first thing in the morning. I voiced my feelings on it one day and she just responded by saying, well then please close the door, it's not that hard. I sometimes deal with sleep paralysis. I got irritated by that because it felt like she just wanted a reason to nag me. One day, I went over to visit her, and I decided to purposely leave the closet door open while she slept in her bed while I slept on the living room couch, just to see what would happen. I assumed nothing happened since I didn't hear anything. However, the next day when I woke up, she was sitting at the kitchen table looking as if she'd been crying since her eyes were puffy. Before I could even say a word she said, I've told you many times that I wanted the closet door closed. It's all I ever asked of you and you can't even do that. Here's where I might be the jerk. I got angry that she was already nagging me about this first thing in the morning, so I told her that she's a grown woman and can't rely on some dumb stickers to help her over something that happened to her years ago, and she needed to get over it. She told me to leave, so I did because I was mad. It's been a week since then and I haven't heard anything from her. I don't want to break up over this, but I want to know if what I said was wrong. My parents and friends are saying my girlfriend is being dramatic, but I want some unbiased opinions on the subject.
Girlfriend's Reddit post: I dumped my boyfriend for leaving my closet door open. My ex posted on Reddit and I just wanted a place to respond. My now ex-boyfriend and I were together for 2 years, would have been 3 years next month. We met through a mutual friend, my roommate at the time, because of our similar interests. For some context, I've lived in my apartment for about 4 years, and the mutual friend was my roommate in the beginning, but they moved out 3 years ago, so since then I've been living on my own. I was originally going to have my boyfriend move in with me once my lease ended, but of course, change of plans. So, my ex posted on Reddit asking if he was the jerk for leaving my closet door open, yet he left out very important details. One question that kept appearing was why didn't I close the door even though I never leave it open. Ever since I was little I've trained my brain to always make sure the closet door was closed. When I was 6, I was sharing a room with my older sister, and one night she went over her friend's house for a sleepover. My parents and I got home a bit late. I remember it being hot since we had the AC on. I went to bed but was tossing and turning because it's really hot. I kept hearing a noise from somewhere but wasn't sure from where and just assumed it was the AC. I laid on my back just staring at the roof and heard my closet door being open. My bed was faced towards the closet, so when I moved my head down, I could see this old man coming out of it. I screamed and my parents came running in. My dad grabbed me and I saw my mom hitting that man with one of her favorite pans. We called the police and later found out that the man was homeless, must have snuck in while we were away and hid in my closet when he heard my parents' car come in. Since then I've suffered from PTSD and fear of someone coming in my closet again. I slept with my parents for a few years after that. We moved to another state once I hit high school. My parents got me a therapist when the incident occurred, and to this day, I'm still going to therapy. I felt like it wasn't working though because it just felt like I was venting and the therapist would go, and how does that make you feel? Instead of suggesting something to help me. That was until my current therapist. She suggested that I could use something like a nightlight and place it by the closet. Then I asked if I could use something else like something that could stick to the walls. First, it was these big glow-in-the-dark dinosaur stickers. I felt kind of silly about it at first when I put it up, but when I had sleep paralysis, I was still scared but able to tell what was a dream and what wasn't, giving me a sense of comfort. I changed the themes occasionally to dinosaurs, planets, and now stars. For the past 7 years, it's worked for me. I moved out of my parents' home at 20 to live in an apartment with my friend who I met in college. I only went for 2 years. I explained to her my situation because we shared a room and there's only one closet. She understood me completely. She only ever left it open once when she came home from a night shift. She was remorseful and never did it again when she saw how bad I suffered from it. Now to my ex, we pretty much clicked when we met. We had similar hobbies and liked exploring new foods. It was fun. I also told him about my trauma. I asked that I didn't mind it being open during the day, but at night, it needed to be closed no matter what. He could still put or take something out of it, but he had to close it back up, and he complied throughout our relationship. It wasn't until a few months ago that he started to act very controlling. He would make small comments about certain foods I would eat, like how it would affect my liver or something, and recommended other things. I brushed it off, thinking he was just looking out for my health. It started getting to a point where he suggested I quit my job when he finished college and moved in, but I told him that it'd be beneficial for both of us to be working. He never asked again, but he did start asking things like if I could cook for him even though I said I was tired from work, would I stop working if he made enough money for both of us, and if I still wanted kids. I think he wanted to ask me to become a stay-at-home wife or mother, but I could be overanalyzing. On the night before we broke up, when he decided to test me, I had the worst hallucination since I was a teenager. I wake up, see the door open, and start to imagine the man I saw all those years ago. When I woke up the next day, it was around 4 a.m., I was able to move and started to cry immediately to a point where I couldn't shred any more tears, and apart from the migraine from crying too hard, I felt a numbness. So when he woke up a few hours late, I waited for him in the kitchen, just honestly feeling tired. I didn't yell, just spoke in a monotone voice. I told him how I had one rule, and that was to close the door. He got defensive, saying he felt like I was lying about my trauma just to see if he would care for me. I told him to leave while I thought things over. I never ignored him, and he never texted me the whole week. But now I know for sure that there's no saving this relationship. And you can get your stuff from your brother. I already told him what you did. So good luck. I'll be moving in with my sister out of town. I'm not renewing my lease. I just want to be with people who actually support me. Minor update. I booked a therapy session for the both of us so we can have a proper conversation. That does not mean we'll be getting back together.